Hey, good morning. It's another Wednesday, another virtual card and a cuppa. So today is October 21st, and here where I am at my mum's, it is absolutely pouring down with rain. So I hope the weather with you is a lot better. Hello, Lorraine. Just see that you've just come on. So today I'm sharing another Christmas card. Are you fed up with them yet? Have you made them all? So how are you doing with them all? I know I've still got a couple left to do, but quite frankly, I'm getting to the point now, it's just like, yep, okay, another Christmas card, that's fine. Anyway, so you should have had your kits in the mail at the beginning of the month, and we're now the 21st, so yeah, so it should have arrived by now, just because as long as the post has been working on time. And I'll just run through it quickly. So you have your usual envelope. Lorraine's got more to do, okay. You've got your thick Whisper White base card. So it's an A4 cut in half at 10.5 down the length. Morning, Jackie. I use the thick because the thin, because it's more substantial for a base card rather than the normal standard Whisper White. So there's that. You have a piece of Coastal Cabana, which I have die cut 1/edge using the Ornate Borders Dies. Now, apologies, you might have a few little bits there that you still need to pick out. Shouldn't be hard, they just pop out, she says. If I get the pokey tool, that might help. So you just need to make sure that they're all out. There you go, that's it. So we've got that. You will have a piece of the normal Whisper White. You don't have a piece for an innie today because obviously it's a white card, so you don't really need that. You will have a piece of the Snowflake Splendor DSP. So if you're like making Christmas cards with snowflakes on, this is the paper for you, because every single sheet has snowflakes on. So this is the piece. Just quickly show you what it looks like. So there are large snowflakes, and that's the reverse side, so that's the piece we're using. We've got different shaped snowflakes, we've got dark blue, light blue. So the paper itself will coordinate with the balmy blue, Coastal Cabana, which is the colour that you have today, Highland Heather, and I know at least one person who really likes the purples, Misty Moonlight, which is an in colour, good old Night of Navy, and believe it or not, Night of Navy apparently is the Pantone colour for Christmas this year. Didn't know that, but I was doing my newsletter for this coming weekend, and I just thought, well, I'll just go check it what it is, and it's actually well, it's not Night of Navy, it's Navy, but this is our Navy. Pacific Point, Pool Party, and of course Whisper White. So the Snowflake Splendor DSP is in the sale at the moment, so there's 15% off this month. So if you want to really go to town with your snowflakes, then this is the paper for you. And it also coordinates with the Snowflake Wishes bundle, and I'll show you. I don't have the bundle, but I'll show you what it looks like. So the bundle is on page, well, there's a small picture on page 37 of the August to December catalogue, but this is the stamp set. So this is full size, so these are the actual sizes of the images, and then there are some coordinating dies to go with it, which is this. You can buy them individually, or you can buy them as a bundle, or you can go completely to town and buy the bundle with the paper and all the other bits with a buy all suite. But yeah, that's the paper that we're using. Put that away. So you've got your paper, you've got your base card and all those bits. You then have a strip of Coastal Cabana, a strip of silver foiled paper, a thin strip again of the paper to go inside your envelope, and a die cut piece of Whisper White. So I used the stitched rectangles for those. And where are they? I'm just going to show you what they look like, the dies. So these are the dies that I use. So these are the Ornate Border Dies. So these are the ones that I used. I used that one in particular. Don't know if you can see it, to do the border on the Coastal Cabana there, but there's all sorts of things in here. Flowers, stems, 2 edgings. So I used that one rather than that one would have worked as well, but that's what I used for the die cutting. And then I also used my stitched rectangle dies. So these are my go-to dies. So I actually used, and she says, oh, no, it's not that one, it must have been that big one. That's slightly bigger one there. So I used this one. No, I didn't use that one. How weird. What did I use? Could have sworn I used these. I need to go check. What is that? How embarrassing. I know what I used. I used something from the from another dies. Never mind. Sorry about that. It wasn't the rectangle dies. I will correct myself and let you know what it was that I used. But how embarrassing, but never mind. There you go. So that's your kit. So now's the fun part, and show you what I've actually made with it so far. So my first card is straightforward. Let's use all the bits as they are. So this is my first card. So I've got my Whisper White card base, and onto that I glued the piece of Coastal Cabana. Now it fits perfectly on the card front, so there's nothing overhanging. It's not smaller. It is actually just direct to the card front. And then I glued the piece of Whisper White so that the border was showing. Oops, there you go. DSP, strip of Coastal Cabana, strip of silver, stamped a sentiment onto the rectangle, and I'm using my go-to stamp set, which is always for Christmas, the Itty Bitty Christmas. So I used the Peace and Happiness stamp there. So I just centered that onto there and stamped in Coastal Cabana. And then I used some basic rhinestones, which I then coloured using Stampin' Blend. So the rhinestones actually coordinate with the whole of the card. So that was the first one. Second one, I kind of went a bit to town. Oh, that was a Memento ink pad just hitting the floor. Luckily the lid's still on. Otherwise I would be diving off here by now to go and fetch it. So this is my second card. Hopefully you can see it. So instead of having it landscape, I thought I'd go portrait. And yes, it does mean that you're going to have your fold at the top of your card. I personally don't mind it too much, especially since I'm using the thick Whisper White. It doesn't tend to spread. You know, you see cards on the mantelpiece and they're sort of kind of going over time. With the thick Whisper White, it's pretty good, and it doesn't tend to do that. So rather than using the whole piece, what I did was I cut it down. So this piece of Coastal Cabana I cut down so that it measured exactly from edge to edge of the card. So it measures 10.5 centimetres across. Cut that up. I then took my piece of Whisper White, which is already 10 centimetres. Where is it? It's already 10 centimetres there. So I cut it at 10 because I wanted a border. So that then got put on. I was then very canny, and I used the Coastal Cabana strip and this. So I then glued the this piece onto the white. So if you do everything on the white first, so you put your DSP on, you whatever it is, my piece of Coastal Cabana cut in half that way along the length. Trim off the edges. But if you're really clever about it, what you want to do is you want to put everything onto that piece of white to start off with. So center it, cut this in half, put a half top, half bottom, then cut it at 10 centimeters, because what then happens is that you have enough left to make a tag as well. So this is the offcut from here. Ignore the silver going across. So I used all the offcuts to make the tag. So I basically used a whole kit still, but I got a card and a tag out of it. And then I've also very carefully cut the silver in half. And then what you want to do is you need to work out your placement of this piece of Coastal Cabana. And you want to glue one piece at the top and one piece, you don't know if you can actually see it, but it's actually just under the dots, the holes there. So there is a piece top and bottom. And then I simply stamped my sentiment in Coastal Cabana. This time I went for the Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So I used the whole of this piece and then chopped it down and bannered it. So to banner it, you just simply cut up the middle and then to both points. Put that on, and then I just used normal rhinestones on that one. So those ones haven't been coloured. And then to make this, so basically there was some of this silver left. So in fact there were two bits from the top and the bottom. So this actual bit of silver doesn't meet in the middle, but with the sentiment on, you can hide the fact that there's a gap there. And then I used some ribbon. So I used, which ones did I use? I used this is the main ribbon. So it's a Whisper white ribbon with silver edges. And believe it or not, it's called metallic edge ribbon. So you can get a Whisper white with silver on, and you can get a very vanilla one with gold edging. And then I used the crinkled seam binding ribbon, which is my go-to when you want to do bows and things. So rather than looping this through, I just put it through and then I tied a bow to hold this piece. I'm one of those people that I don't quite like having the loop here. So that's how I tend to finish my tags and things off. So that was one. So that was my second use, or my second card with tag. So again, I used everything. So first card, everything just on the card. Second card, change it out a bit. And now I guess I get to do the third card, which I have to admit I'm a little bit stumped about at the moment. So the $64 question is, of course, as always, do I go portrait? Do I go landscape? And I think I'm going to go landscape still, but this time I'm going to use just this piece of Coastal Cabana and the DSP, the double-sided paper. So I want a border around here. Now you can get your rulers out and measure it, or you can wing it, which is precisely what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to wing it a bit. So I'm going to glue my double-sided paper on. And you don't need to totally cover it, she says, as she precisely does that. But it's only little beads of... So I'm going to put this on down towards the bottom. So that I need to make sure that it's also central, so it has a border each side and at the bottom. I kind of want it, and the reason I use glue is means I can actually move it around slightly. So when you're happy with it, you then get the trimmer, which is buried as always, and you're going to trim off Now, if you use this here, which is where your blade goes, as a way of working out how much you want to take off. So I know that I roughly want about that much as a border around, and then just go for it and make sure it's straight. So obviously if something of mine is not straight, I suspect I haven't put the paper on straight. But there you go. These things happen, especially when you're doing it live. So I'm going to put that in the middle of my card. And then the other question is, what am I going to do? And I think rather than, I might put the silver underneath so that I've got it under all of it, like that. Now your silver's probably slightly longer, sorry I've got a hair in the way, slightly longer than your piece of card here. So you just need a bead going down here, because the one thing about foil paper and glue is if you get the glue on it, it's a pig to get off. Then the question is, which way is it better to do it? That way, I think. And you just want to make sure it goes down to the edge of there, like that. There we go. So there's a piece that I will need to cut off. A pair of scissors. Now from here you could actually either keep it as a landscape card, or you could even go portrait with it and sort of put it here, if that's what you wanted to do. And then you've got your sentiment and your piece of, you've got your sentiment, you've got a piece of Coastal Cabana and your sentiment. So let's see what we're going to do. Now this is quite wide for this, but so I think I am actually just going to go landscape. And that's what I've decided. I know what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to stamp a sentiment onto here. So I'm using exactly the same colour as the cardstock. So I'm using Coastal Cabana ink pad. I'm going to use, so this is the stamp set. Let's see, let's change it out and do something else. So I've used the Peace and Happiness, and I've also used the Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I used the No Peeking Till Christmas on the tag. So this time I think I'm going to go for Happy Holidays. Is not me, it's just too American for me. So I'm either going to go for Happy Christmas or Celebrate the Season. So I think I might go for Celebrate the Season, because that's quite a long sentiment and we've got a long space to fill. Now this is where you play the guessing game, because I haven't actually put the backings on everything. That's Happy Christmas. I can always use that if I don't. So the trick is to find your backing pieces and just see where the stamp is that you want. So the Celebrate the Season's there. So when I turn that over, I know that that one there is the Celebrate the Season. That's just a little trick if you're like me and you don't always put the backings on. I mean, the stamps still work obviously if you don't have the backings on. They'll still stick to the blocks. And now I really am going to have to wing it. If you were doing lots of these, I would suggest you set up your Stamparatus and just do it that way. It's very quick to stamp multiples of the same thing. Sorry, I need to move this a bit towards me so I can actually see where I'm going. Try and center it. Let's see how I do. It's a bit wonky, but hey ho, it's a handmade card. For the purposes of this, I guess I've got another one here that I could do. So what happened there? So the season was down a bit too much. Yeah, there we go. That's fine. So that will work. I'll close that so I don't end up putting my elbow in it. So we've got to celebrate the season. We've got this piece as well. So what I think I might do is I'm going to glue this to that. Now I only want to go along the middle because I want this piece going along the middle of the sentiment. So I'm going to do that and try and get it equal. So that is right at the top and bottom. Now I put it to one side purely because what I'm going to do is I'm going to banner this end. So as I said, you cut up the middle and then go from corner to that point. Take those away, and then I'm just going to cut across here and do the same thing again. Up the middle, corner to the point. So I've now got a banner, so I'm going to put that on here. So that's basically how my card is going to look. I just need to decide, do I want to glue everything on or do I want to use foam pads? So I think I'm going to glue this one on because I don't want things to be so tall that I can't post it, or I can post it, but it's going to cost me an absolute fortune because it will go as a large letter. Let's put a bit more glue around that bit there. I don't really want it to peel off the edges. So if you use your grid paper, kind of line it up. Make sure you've got the front and not the back. I think mine actually, that was actually the back that I was looking at. And then we just go for, try and get it roughly the same top and bottom, but you can use, like I'm going to use that square there to make sure that it lines up with the square on this side. Like that. I hate to say, but I think it might be just a little bit too long. I'll trim that in a minute. And then I'm going to add this piece with the some dimensionals. So, which are the little foam pads. Well, so they're not that little, but I'm certainly not going to use the mini ones. So I'm just going to put a few on here. You don't need to go to town completely. Dimension it within the inch of its life. Just enough to secure it. It's not like it's a really heavy embellishment or anything like that. So, okay. So, let's see if that's roughly equal. Put that on like that. So all that's left now is to decorate it. There are all sorts of embellishments you can use. So I've got a selection here. So I've got some adhesive backed snowflakes, which I haven't used. I have some, what's left of my holiday rhinestones. So these are pretty good. So they will actually coordinate with this. And I've just got some normal rhinestones. And I think, let's see, I'm going to go with these ones. So if you use your take your pick tool, you don't actually have to get under these things. You just use the putty end and you just attach it to the rhinestone and slide, and it just lifts off. Now I'm going to put that in the middle of that snowflake. And then I'm trying to find ones that are the same size, but I don't think I do. So I'm going to use two large ones to put on here. So I'm going to put one here and one here. There we go. So all that's left for me to do is to decorate the inside. So I do have one piece of the paper left. So I have this piece of paper left. You have enough, you should have enough to be able to go along the bottom or down the side. It's up to you. I'm going to go down the side with this one. So again, I just need a bit of glue. And do this. So we're the 21st of October. If you want to do November's card and acuppas, the deadline for ordering your kit is the 24th, so it's 3 days time. So if you haven't ordered it yet, I would suggest you do so. You don't want to miss out. It's going to be last Christmas cards of the season that I'm going to be sharing with you. And then in December, I'm only going to do one Facebook, one virtual card and acuppa. So that will be the beginning of December. And that one's going to be a surprise. I'm still thinking about that one. But the details will be out early November so that you can get that organised as soon as possible as well. So, well, I hope you've enjoyed that. So my 3 cards using that one kit, she says, as she's now trying to find the others. So we have so that was the first one. This was the second one with the tag to go with it, and that's the third one. So I'll put all these up on the Facebook page along with the measurements for cutting the kit, and also confirm everything, what exactly die it was I used to cut that. I think I know what it was now, but it wasn't the rectangles. So yeah, sorry about that. And this will go, this will be posted up as well, and of course everything will go up on YouTube soon. I will be back next week with, I'm not quite sure yet, it's either going to be another technique. So last week we did the faux watercolour with the stamp, with the blocks, or it might be a fancy fold. I haven't quite worked it out. I've got a few ideas running around in my head. So I just need to sort that out. So 23rd is the last day for ordering the kits for next month. I say 23rd or 24th? A couple of days anyway. And also, I don't know if you've seen it on my Facebook page, I'm doing a kit event in November, and it's with the November's Global Paper Pumpkin, which is called Joy to the World. So you can order the kit online on the 3rd of November, or if you want me to order it and you can collect, then I can do so. The kit's £20, and that's just for the kit, and you can make 8 cards, but there's a stamp set and a ink spot in there, so you obviously get to keep those once you've actually made the 8 cards. And then the plan is on the 28th of November I will organise a Zoom chat and craft where we can all sit and make the cards together, and I will also have some alternatives to show you as well. So you can do, or you can go the alternative route. It'll be up to you. So the details are on my Facebook page with all the links to my shop for the 3rd of November, and also the links to order the kit if you can come and collect it from me. So I hope to see you on the 28th. If you're a demonstrator or already have a demonstrator that you purchased from, that's fine. You're still welcome to come and join in the Zoom event as well. So I just would quite like to have everybody involved. It'd be quite nice. And that is it. So I'll see you again soon, next week at least. And the good news is that we now have markings on the pavement outside the house. So it means that sometime in the very near future we might actually get a decent internet service. Not that she's just gone shopping, but anyway. All right, I'm going to love you and leave you. Take care. Keep stamping. Bye.